It's our first platinum game today, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, goody, Sue's not retiring.
Ah, it's good. He is way too awesome to retire.
Yeah, like, one of my Cirque friends swears by him. Says that he's going to be one of the next... He's going to be, like, pretty much surpass Sulky very soon.
Well, I mean, he's gone to 3 GSL finals, I think in a row. He's just kind of quiet. Like, I feel like he's kind of unremarkably amazing. Kind of almost like Teja, where it's not like... Teja's just amazing at everything, you know? You can't really pinpoint anything. So that might make him a little bland, even if he is just incredible. You know, like, he's not like Marine King where it's just all splits all day long. It's like all excellent, clean play all day long. I think maybe Sue might be something kind of like that, where he's just so... He might be generic, but he's incredibly good at everything. So maybe he doesn't stick out in the mind, but he is pretty damn good.
If you were going to pick someone who's remarkably just good at everything, well, we'll talk about it in a second. Please take it away.
We have, in the top right-hand corner, he needs no team, he needs no master. He's representing all things Protoss on Overgrowth. It's Tio.
And in the bottom left-hand side, representing all things Terran, our Teal Terran, it is Spirit.
Now, you were saying if I had to pick somebody incredibly good at everything.
Could pick, yes,
Protoss?
just a Protoss player. Don't say CJ Ente's hero.
No, I have to show a little bit of bias. He's been kind of quiet, he hasn't been winning everything for a while, but I'm still a huge fan of Rain. You really can't go wrong with Rain. I mean, Zest is absolutely amazing. Just watching the way he plays, very deliberate. Zest is not particularly cheesy. He will bust out the cheese if he has to, but Zest kind of reminds me of a modern Rain. He's very standard, very clean and precise, but I'm still pulling for Rain to come back and make just an incredible splash. He's been one of my favorites for a very long time. As you know yourself from playing me, apart from our occasional dumb games, I'm pretty macro focused. I really do enjoy macro games from a Protoss perspective, and Rain kind of engineered the macro stance for Protoss. He was the longest time just the macro guy, so always gonna have respect for him.
In that sense, he's kind of like Pult, to be honest. All he does is macro. But he plays so differently from Pult. And we do see now Spirit's going to be sending out a relatively early... Wow, is he going gasless? No, he's going 15. Okay, so he's not going to insta-die to Oracles. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, the scout from Tio is incredibly early as well. I mean, he is having none of it. I mean, he's paying a little bit of a price here economically for this early scout, but he's getting information out of this. He knows that there's going to be no fast factory. It's probably going to be Reaper. Although there is a interesting, yeah, well, you were right. Was this 15 gas?
Right, there was no Reaper. It's going to be 2 Marines and a reactor, and this is a little bit safer against, I think, 10 gates. You have a little bit more money. The downside is if Tio chooses to hide something anywhere in the map, there's almost no way that our Terran friend will find it.
Yeah, I mean, he's also going to deny the scouting and get a, I would say, a reasonably fast command center out of this. I mean, this is going to be like, what? Well, he's going reactor before command center, so...
Right,
this is about the time you want to see, like, if you're going standard 1-gate expand, and you're pretty good with your probe micro and everything, your Nexus should be up about 336, 337, and we're not seeing that from the Protoss. We're actually going to see the command center up significantly faster than the Nexus. If there's going to be a Nexus at all, we do see a second gas. So, I mean, maybe we're going to see our shenanigans. Everything before now has been reasonably gentlemanly, quite normal. Here we're seeing 2 gases before Nexus.
Although the way that probe is going down, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Nexus.
So, this is interesting. This would lead me to believe it's either going to be Stargate or Blink after Expand. You don't usually get double gas for Robo. Although, he did scout incredibly early, so maybe, I mean, he's a very cautious player who wants to play slightly unorthodox. I have no problem with that. With the gas count he's got, it would behoove him to go Stargate. He is positioning a pylon behind the natural mineral line, and that's unusual for so early. Usually, you want to position tech behind there, you know, stuff like Robo Bay, Twilight Council. But to me, that could be a proxied Stargate. That would be cool. Although the SCV does spot it, that's some nice scouting from Spirit.
He sees Forge. Well, he should have seen Forge. I have no idea if he clicked on it or not, but Forge before Robo is unorthodox. What do you think of this?
It's something I've seen State do occasionally, and I don't hate it if you know what the Terran is doing. You're gonna make some sacrifices. Like, he's not gonna have a pretty quick observer spread. He is gonna have quite fast upgrades. Like, single really early forge is interesting. That would lead me to believe that he wants to go for a delayed double forge. I mean, either you go early, like slightly delayed single forge after Robo, or you go double forge. This very early forge with a Twilight Council, it's kind of cool. I mean, it may be for something like Templar play. He does have the gas for armor, which I would like to see. Like, he got the fast forge, you think he'd want to use it straight away. But if he wants to go like super fast forge into armor and charge zealots, that'd be awesome. I'd really like that. Oh, I'm completely wrong. This forge is for cannons.
Yeah, he's just playing it super duper safe. Yeah, this is a little bit old school. Like, these cannons would finish right around the time a normal Widow Mine drop would hit, and based on his scouting information, I guess he just, because that Marine came out and stayed, there was no way for him to confirm if it was going to be, you know, 3 racks or 1-1-1. So I guess he's just choosing to play it safe, and I think that's totally okay. You can actually scout better versus a Reaper than you can versus a Marine, because Marines don't leave.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we can't really condemn anyone for being safe. And interestingly, maybe I'm not really dumb, Albert. Maybe I'm just kind of prophetic. I mean, we're seeing +1 armor charge coming down. I used to absolutely love Templar first play in PvT. You get a Warp Prism, you go for Storm, you harass a little when the medevacs are out on the map. You see that with your observer positioning, but since the advent of the Widowmine buff, it's kind of died down. A lot of people feel that Templar openings are just not that viable against someone who is willing to go for heavy Widowmine counts. They absolutely eat up your charge lots, and they leave the Templar incredibly exposed. I mean, as we all know, Widowmines are exceedingly cost efficient versus gateway units. And we are seeing those Widowmines in production.
I still do think against Templar open, if you're going to go Templar against someone who's going mines, I think the answer is more along the lines of using cannons to stay safer as opposed to using zealots. It's taking a trick from Zerg. Like, if you remember towards the era of Biomine, what did the pattern of engagement look like with Biomine against Zerg? You took very small groups of units, moved them forward so they couldn't be hit by AoE, and you let the mines do most of the work. And Zerg responded in kind by making spine crawlers. Like, what's great against small groups of units? Static defense. Like, Protoss still have a few tools in their arsenals. I feel like they should maybe consider that before just outright saying you can't go Storm anymore. Too many people are looking at the professional level games and just saying, oh, because all the Koreans don't go Storm anymore, I guess I just can't open Templar anymore.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, pretty much everything is viable up to, say, Grandmaster level. I mean, we see like a very active, oh wow, yeah, this is I don't think Teo's ready. He's not ready for this at all.
Yeah, well, there's the overcharge being forced out, and a second Widowmine being pushed out. This is a very early mine attack to the point that he's even delayed medevacs for it. But actually, no, he hasn't. There's medevacs right now. So what did he cut for this? And the answer, it looks like, is no. +1's gonna finish too. Wow. This is a very nice build. He's got everything. The only thing I could say is slightly more unusual is actually bio counts, but that's not really too big a concern.
I feel like he was a little bit scared of overcharge there. I mean, the Archon is here now. I wouldn't want to attack into this, but before that Archon was there, I feel like he could have done a little bit extra damage. I mean, overcharge is scary, and there was a cannon, but I mean, he had the potential there to do some damage, and he's going to go for it again.
Oh boy, here we go. This is going to be a very brutal attack. Mine 1, armed and ready.
He wants the Nexus, and he might get it.
Nice impact on that one, but the medevac this time taking damage. And Archon goes down. Teal desperately trying to stabilize, warps in more charge lots. Does he have Storm? No Storm available. Instead, he's using his supply block. Or he was supply blocked.
Yeah, he's going to have to rely on charge lot Archon for this fight. And I really like this from Spirit. If Spirit reaches out now for a 3rd command center, wow, he's already got the 3rd command center, it's in his base, and he's adding on 3 additional barracks. He's not going to stop this aggression. Tempo is going to continue. And he's not going to have infinite overcharge.
And Storm's not even close to being ready. He really wants that Nexus, but I think he might just be overextending. He traded a lot of army for that Nexus, but in the end he does have it. Mines go off, doing heavy damage to the Zealots, and Teal can't even counterattack right now. This army's still knocking at his front door.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal. And the position here for Spirit is actually fantastic. He's got 3 command centers. He's got 3 bases now that he's moving that out. He's got bio churning out. Yeah, there is a Warp Prison heading in, but I mean,
this could do heavy damage. And the only reason I'm saying that, look at the way this is rallied. This is a parade style rallied, and the main vulnerability to a parade style attack, even in Zerg, is always going to be counterattacks. And a big Warp on the Zealots at the worst moment could force all these workers to evacuate the main. And if he camps the production, that could just stop the parade completely.
Yeah, ideally, Tio, what he wants to accomplish with this War Prism is pull that army back from his front door and let him take a third. Get him some breathing room. And those Zealots, they're in the base net now. They've got charge, they've got 1-1. They're going to rip these SCVs apart if he's not careful.
And Spirit now does see the Zealots in the main. He needs to start pulling troops back. He retracts one of the mines, but everything else is still posturing at the front door of this Protoss.
And in the blink of an eye, 8 workers have gone down. Those Zealots have done remarkable damage. Could they get the Ghost Academy? I don't know. I mean, he's not repairing. There's no forces there, but 2 Marines firing. He's gonna get the Ghost Academy.
Oh man, that is actually pretty big, and he wants to get out another fight.
Time to push.
Hold on, Storm is ready, but does he have any storms is the question. First Storm is locked and ready. He really wants it to be perfect. Big Storm goes down, but catches a lot of his own Zealots, unfortunately.
And those Widow Mine hits are brutal. I think Spirit can put on the pressure here.
Yeah, but right now, look, no more production. These Zealots, these 3 Zealots, are just going to continually be reinforced. There's no way to add production. And look, now he's going to go into the natural. And what are you supposed to do from here? Just 3 Zealots. Stop all mining in the main. Cut off a huge amount of production. And now we're doing the exact same in the natural. Right now, Spirit needs to either retreat or make a move. And there's no way he can make a move against someone who has both overcharge and think another Archon to join soon.
I think he can easily afford to bring this army home. He's got 4 bases, okay? He can bring this army home. He can... Okay, the Protoss is probably going to stabilize, maybe establish a third. But wow, he's cleaned up the army. I speak falsely. He's cleaned up the army. He's still on the doors. But there is a Dark Shrine. 4 more Zealots in the main. Okay, he has to bring this home now. Like, he doesn't need to overextend.
No, but I think he wants to. He really wants to go for this fight. He knows that there's no Storm available on that Templar. He gets a big clump. When you clump your bio, you clump the Zealots, and when the Zealots clump, the mines do insane damage. And there's a focus fire again, but this time 3 Archons and all these Archons. Time warp. No retreat possible. He gets the Nexus again, but at the cost of his entire army, and it looks just barely. Teal is going to clear up this entire army. All the medevac's going to go down as well.
The cost of his entire army and the cost of his main Nexus, but the Warp Prism is going to go down.
He does lose the Warp Prism, yes, but oh man, what a scrappy game.
Let's not forget, 3,000 minerals in the bank. But are we going to see a brutal counterattack? Oh, there's 5 racks coming down, and there is such low bio count on the map. He needs to produce, and he needs to produce now. There's a brutal counterattack coming his way.
Is there any pylons or Warp Prisms in play is the question, and I think the answer is still no. He needs to bring up something to reinforce. At the very least, he should be able to deny this 4th base. I think this should be almost free for him.
I agree. There shouldn't be much he can do to stop this. I mean, it's unfortunate. If Spirit leans really heavily into macro, he should overwhelm him right now, but it's looking dicey.
It's a big sandwich. That's a big Storm. Nice move so far by Tio. But he's going to have to be so cost efficient. There's no way to reinforce this army, and that Templar is barely safe. Tio needs to rejoin the rest of his forces. He needs to warp in a big run of Zealots.
Man, win or lose, I'm a huge fan of Spirit. His play is utterly fearless. Look at him. He's extending across the map. 2 additional bases going down. He doesn't care. Protoss is on 2 base. I need 5.
Now, the only downside I'd say to his play is, yes, it looks very impressive. The timings were slick, but he did this attack blindly. If his opponent had been going Colossus and he'd been gone for this sort of biomine parade style, I'm not sure if it would have gone so well for him. Like, if you look at his scouting information, he still has no idea what's going on inside Protoss's base since 3 minutes.
Yeah, like, realistically, if Tio had chance to stabilize, there would have been a Colossus transition in here long ago. But because of Spirit's aggression, because of his contain, he's been forced down this single path of Templar Archon. And is it going to be enough for him? He may claim this base, but even if he does, so what? There were 3 others on the map waiting for Spirit.
This is 2-1 versus 1-1. There's the fourth base going down right away. And Spirit needs to hold on with everything he's got. He's got mostly Marine composition, 2 Widow Mines out front. But Protoss with, I think, this is 3 Storms, another round of Zealots. I think Tio's just had enough. I think he's going to go for the throat, and I think he's just going to absolutely rip apart Spirit. Mines get good connections.
But that
storm,
that storm did such
really,
critical
really
damage to his own Zealots. Again.
Oh dear.
The Tinu Storm lives on.
The Tinu Storm lives on. The 2 Archons on the right taking so much damage. You really don't want that happening. Oh, that was the Storm he needed, but he needs reinforcements. And if he gets these 2 medevacs, at the very least, this was not a wasted attack. I'm pretty sure he still has at least 1 Storm remaining. One have like 72 energy, 73
I think
energy.
we may have reached the tipping point. I mean, you look at this Spirit, he has a lot of production, but none of it is on the field right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Charge Rod Archon power. When you slip on your macro for just a moment, Spirit's still going predominantly Marines. Try to hold this. He needs some Marauders to hold. Yes, Marauders are suboptimal against both Zealots and Archons, but they are the only hope of muscle. They're the only thing that survive more than 2 seconds in a battle, and in this sorts of engagements, you want sustainability. You don't necessarily want DPS. He charges forward the last stand of Terra. He wants to draw him into this choke, but that was a righteous storm. That Templar just killed 14 Marines, and these Archons are just showing off the power for us. And there is no more hope now for Terra, who is desperately making 12 Marines at a time. But when everything's on top of your production, I don't think there's any way he can come out of this.
My heart is broken, man. Spirit let his macro slip. He floated 3,000 minerals, and suddenly the Protoss was breathing down his neck.
That's right. That's the other problem with these parade-style attacks. They take an insane amount of APM to make work. And right now, Spirit is probably just sitting there in disbelief, wondering how on earth he let such a huge slip happen, sniping the enemy Nexus twice, and still now his production camp.
But he's not giving up yet.
That's right. Look at all the barracks on the right.
Spirit. His name is, he chose the right name. He does have Spirit. He's not giving up. He's got some
That is right. Behind it, well, Tio now finally feels safe enough to take a 3rd base, so technically this is not an all-in. And, well, I don't think there's much left to be said. It's just cleanup mode from this point on.
This is truly heartbreaking, though. I mean, you look at Spirit now, finally he's got his resources under control, and if this was a different game, if those minerals were spent previously to that attack, I think we'd be seeing a completely different outcome.
Honestly, he expanded so quickly, capitalized on how much damage he did. 4 bases to 1 base Protoss. It was just a matter of spending your money efficiently and building a high-quality enough army. And honestly, I'd say if you're floating that much money, just make a bunch of bunkers. What is a 1 base Protoss going to do to you? You know, there's seriously no downside to even spending 1,000 minerals on bunkers. As is, well, Charge Rod Archon marches to the east for one last battle. Waiting for them are the 3 bravest Marines I've ever seen. There are the bunkers going down.
It would be hilarious if they killed this base.
A PF, Planetary Fortress.
The last hope.
The last hope.
Rice.
But he's not going to repair. He's going to fall back to the east, and there is a lot of production here.
Yeah, there are more Archons than there are Marines. It's pretty over at this point.
Yeah, there is a photon cannon there, though. This drop is going to have to be deflected. And the last set of production done.
Tio, well played. Spirit, well played. I feel like Spirit, he had this game in his grasp. He was doing.
I can
making all the right
people
moves.
just stealing this build order. Straight up, a lot of people are just going to steal this build order, or ask for this replay, just because Spirit's opening was so strong. What? No! Is he gonna save it? Second photon cannon, adding in the Archon, getting so many kills, and no! Ladies and gentlemen, the power of
those
triumphs again.
What a valiant charge, but in the end, it's just not enough.
Now that's an SCV.
The Archon count
and
is
Spirit says GG, literally down to the last base.